What's up? Welcome back to Straub Stories. Thanks everybody for tuning back in. We got a really special one for you guys, kind of tying into the last episode where I was talking about that new shortboard from Infinity Surfboards that we're working on trying to make it more drivey. Moving off of that, we got a pretty good one for you guys today, talking about shortboard thrusters, and it's actually a really, well, not really old, but probably something like a 20-year-old high-performance thruster shortboard. And I'm going to reveal it after the surf session. You can probably figure out exactly what it is during the surf session, but stay tuned, firing waves, and let's talk about why I'm riding this board, what it does for me that works well, and what it does for me that doesn't work quite as well, what aspects of it I think I'm going to add into the next version of the model that I'm working on with Infinity. So let's go for a shred. Meet you guys back here in just a minute. Alright, so that was a firing shroud. The waves are actually a lot of fun. It was a little windy, kind of low tide, kind of funky, but we managed to have a good time. And the original plan with the video was to ride my new model from Infinity along with this board here, which is the Speed Demon 3. But once I started riding this board, I had a really good time on it, and I was like really trying to get a feel for like the quirks of it and what works and what doesn't, and try to figure out why I like it and what parts of it I do like. But to start us off, this is the Speed Demon 3, made by Mayhem here in San Clemente, California, Matt Biolis. I haven't ridden many Lost surfboards, so this is like one of probably two that I've ever ridden. But it's kind of cool. It's got some good history to it. So I know the Speed Demon model was released sometime like mid-90s. And Dino Andino was actually a big player in developing the model, the Speed Demon, the original one. Dino is somebody that I've looked up to for a long time. He's buddies with my uncle. I've been friends with Kalohe and Dino for a while at this point. And, he's a legend surfer in this neighborhood along with globally too. So very cool to be able to ride this board and, carry on that legacy of local surfers. Obviously, I represent Dana Point, but Dana Point, San Clemente, San Juan Capistrano, it's the same little triangle we all love each other. So, but anyways, let's talk about this board, why it worked, and what was interesting about it. So it's a bladey thruster, and it was not shaped in the 1990s. I want to preface that. It's the Speed Demon 3, which I would guess was ballpark around like 2005, 2010. Maybe you guys know. Drop in the comments. Older board though. And it does have glassed in fins. Unfortunately not by True Ames. They're the Soar fins. They have this hex core in it. Old school. Good fins. But the board worked really well. Now the one thing that I didn't like about it was when you get on rail, it felt like it like wanted to flatten out. So like let's say I'm doing a carve like this, it felt like it wanted to like lay down and not quite like stay on rail. And I think that might have something to do with the width of the board. Now the dimensions on it are 6'1" by 19 by, I think it says 2 1/4, but I can't really read it. The writing's terrible on it. I don't even know if you guys will be able to see it, but it's like right there along the stringer line. So I think it has something to do with the width of the board. Now, something that I did like is it felt like it was sinking, which is good when you're on the wave. Obviously, it paddled really well. It's 6'1", and I'm surfing waves, you know, maybe yay big. So it's a long surfboard for those type of waves. But what's cool about it is it's really thin, especially in the tail portion of it right here. It's kind of glary, but I mean, that's a pretty thin tail, you know? So I think that helped it sink into the water really well. And another thing that's cool is the edge on it is super square. You can kind of use the contrast of my shirt to see the actual rail line there. But being that it's a square rail, I know Mark Roccalupo back in the day used to talk about a square rail allows for another planing surface, just like the bottom of your board is flat, it'll plane on top of the water. So the same could be said for the rail line, just on a smaller scale. So I think the square edge helps, but you have to thin out this top part of the rail. Otherwise, it's not going to sit in the water. It's going to be too buoyant. So those factors I really liked about it. And I think I like the length as well of the board. The length of the board helps you drive through turns and drive when you're pumping too. Gets you a lot of speed, gets you going quickly. And I think another thing that's really cool about this board is there's not a lot of concave in it. So I don't know how easy it is for you guys to see, but it's relatively flat, this board. So I think that helps have like a smooth rail-to-rail transition. Obviously V-bottom is going to be really tippy. Single concave is going to be really lifty. So it's flat to single to flat. And it's just really simple, really cut and dry. Nothing crazy about it, but when you're surfing it, it's very stable. It feels like you know where you're going to go and you know when you're going to go there. So I like this board a lot. Obviously the tail block's pretty narrow as well, along with the nose at the 12-inch mark. It's pretty narrow. Being a 19-inch wide board, it's about as narrow as you could probably get it without it being too knifey like the 90s kind of were. But I think this thing's really fun. It's got a pretty domey deck on it, you know, like there's a lot of curve on the deck. So there is some hidden foam right here in the center of the board, but it carries out well, nice to the rail, nice and thin. You can see the curve of the rail line there on my hand. It might be easier to see this way. So, you know, it's got a nice rail curve to it. Not too crazy, nice and circular. It's classic Mayhem rail, just pretty round. But yeah, I like the board a lot. I think the things that I'm going to add to my model with Infinity Surfboards is probably thinning out this tail rail a lot more on my Infinity board. And you can tell there's a lot of curve out the tail of the board from pretty much the back fin, the back of the front fin, sorry, to the tip of the tail. It's kind of hard to see, but when I look at my boards and I check out the rocker lines, I hold it down below me like this and I look down at it and you kind of check out both ends, hold the next board and so on. So those are the two things I want to add. A little more tail rocker, get a little more transition, a little more drive through the transition, and then thinning out that tail rail I think is going to add a lot more drive to the board in general, like I was talking about in the last video. So that's my 2 cents. Let me know if you guys have ever ridden one of these things, what you thought of it, and the history of the Speed Demon. If you guys have ridden Mayhems before, let me know if you like them. But I've never really tried them or never really had much experience with them until now. But I've had this thing hiding in my board wall for quite some time. I have a lot of boards in there that I probably should start pulling out. Thank you guys for tuning back in. Like, comment, subscribe, do the deal, share it to your buddy, and drop something in the comments you guys want to see. I'm always working, always thinking, trying to make new cool videos for you guys, and you guys are actually helping me a lot design this board. So it really does come in handy with your insight and the things you do. Now, I don't respond to all the comments, and I'm sorry, but I've been super busy, just like Connor's been super busy too. But I'm gonna go through actually today, right now, and go through a bunch of the comments. So thank you guys always for everything, tuning in, sharing it, commenting, the feedback. I love it all. Tell me what I did good, tell me what I did terrible, and tell me what you want to see next time. Share it to your buddy, and I'll see you next week.